In the previous part, we looked at the harm that can be done to different children in the same family by treating them differently or adopting a non-uniform approach to the same child. Now that we are aware of this problem, how can we work towards equity and fairness? Curious minds, education binds. This is summer. First of all, it is crucial to respect individual differences. Every child is unique, with individual interests, personalities, and needs. Parents should recognize and respect these differences rather than trying to treat every child with a uniform standard. My two sons are both passionate about swimming and used to hit up swim meets together. During a competition in last year's swim season, the older brother achieved first place in the butterfly stroke, and we were all present to cheer him on. However, I observed that the younger brother's smile shifted to a more complex look. He approached me and said, "Mom, I actually don't enjoy swimming. I'd rather play hockey." I feel a little funny inside and said to him, "I appreciate you cheering for your brother. It was clear you were truly happy for him. You also put in a lot of effort during the race. In fact, your backstroke was 5 seconds faster than before. Remember, competition is about more than just winning. It's about giving your best. Let's celebrate your progress too. How about we go out for ice cream after the competition?" Secondly, it is important to distribute your time and attention evenly among your children. Aim to dedicate equal amounts of time to each child in your daily routine. You can create opportunities for individual interactions by scheduling special time with each child. For instance, you could opt to take one child hiking on a weekend afternoon and then go for a bike ride with the other child the following morning. Thirdly, establish equitable family rules. Collaborate with your children to create rules that apply to everyone in the household. This approach can minimize conflicts and teach children the values of respect and understanding. For example, the child who begins reading a library book first should have the first chance to finish it, after which they can return it to the shelf or share it with another family member. Fourthly, it is important to refrain from making comparisons among children, as this can intensify feelings of competition and resentment. Instead, it is more beneficial to concentrate on the individual strengths and developmental progress of each child. My two sons exhibit distinctly different personalities. The older one tends to be energetic and spontaneous, while the younger brother is more reserved and composed. Since childhood, I have often found myself advising the older to slow down repeatedly. On one occasion, we traveled together by plane, each managing our own suitcases. After landing, we joined the crowd heading to the baggage claim area, where we patiently awaited our luggage. I reminded them to maintain a designated spot and wait calmly for our bags to arrive. Suddenly, the older brother spotted his suitcase emerging from behind the conveyor belt curtain and, unable to contain his excitement, rushed into the throng, pushing his way forward. Despite his small stature, his impulsive actions caused him to bump into others, particularly the nearby children. Meanwhile, the younger brother remained still, his eyes wide with anticipation, fearful of missing his bag. I called out the older one's name as I maneuvered through the crowd to intervene. By the time I reached him, he had already retrieved his suitcase. Breathing heavily, I guided him to a quieter corner and firmly asked, "Why the rush? Luggage doesn't just disappear. Look at your brother, patiently waiting for his bag. Perhaps you could learn from him." My admonishment left him slightly embarrassed, and he leaned against the wall, occasionally glancing at the bustling crowd. I continued my lecture until the younger one arrived, pulling his suitcase behind him. This serves as a prime illustration of the comparison I often draw between my two children. Although the older one required more guidance in his behavior, it was unnecessary to contrast him with the quieter, well-mannered younger sibling. If I had the opportunity to revisit that moment, I would advise the older brother, "I saw you running into other people because you were going a bit too fast. I understand that you wanted to grab your luggage quickly, but it could have been a better idea to walk around the crowd instead. I just want to make sure you're being mindful of those around you. Next time, could you slow down a bit and take a look around before moving?" The last but not least, listening to your child's emotions. When your child shares their feelings of frustration regarding perceived unfair treatment, it is important to listen attentively and strive to understand their perspective. This practice fosters trust and strengthens the parent-child bond. For instance, My older child occasionally voices his concerns about my leniency towards my younger one. He feels that I am quick to forgive his younger sibling's mistakes, while I seem to be more severe with him, often reacting with anger and punishment for his errors. Upon recognizing this dynamic, I initiated a conversation with him. I asked, "I've noticed you seem a bit upset lately. Can you share what's bothering you?" He said,
Mom, you always seem to forgive my brother so easily, and you let things go when he messes up. But when I make even a tiny mistake, you get really mad and punish me. I feel very unfair.
I responded, "I get where you're coming from. You think I treat your brother differently, and that feels unjust to you, right?" He nodded and said,
Yeah, it feels like I'm being treated way too harshly.
I replied, "Thanks for sharing how you feel. Every kid is different, and I might handle things differently, but that doesn't mean I love one of you more than the other. Can you give me an example of when you felt this way?" He answered,
Like the last time I forgot to write my homework. You were really upset and grounded me from playing games. But when my brother forgot to put his bike away, you just reminded him.
I said, "So, you think I'm tougher on you and easier on your brother, right?" He replied,
Yeah,
I explained, "The reason I'm strict with you is that I know you can do better, and I want you to build good habits and take on responsibility. With your younger brother, I'm trying to teach him the same lessons, but he just needs a bit more time and support." He countered.
but I still think it's not fair.
I said, "I get where you're coming from. I'll work on being more fair and consistent with you moving forward. Just know that I'm strict because I believe in your potential. Can we team up to improve together?" He agreed.
Okay,
I said, "Thanks for sharing that with me. Your feelings are important, and I'm looking forward to working together." Every individual anticipates equitable treatment. Children, too, share this fundamental desire for fairness, which plays a crucial role in their growth. Fairness not only conveys respect towards children, but also serves as a fundamental element in fostering their confidence and sense of security. When children perceive that they are treated justly, they are more inclined to cultivate a positive self-image and establish healthy social connections. This not only enhances their academic performance but also provides a robust basis for their future personal and professional relationships. Curious minds, education binds. This is Summer. Thank you for your time.